Hi, Jack Spirko here with another survival podcast video. Today I thought we'd get out and do a little bit on outdoor survival. Now, I'm not out in the wilderness. This is actually a city park. A city park that has a jogging trail that runs through it and things like that. This is kind of off of that trail, but this is, for lack of a better term, a ditch. It's really a small creek that has a few spots like this one where it opens up. And the reason I chose this spot is it's very much exactly what you would find throughout most of the southern United States, at least the southeastern United States, south to Texas. Streams like this are common in wilderness areas and in cities, both. This is a natural stream. I really don't want to eat anything out of here because a lot of people throw a lot of garbage in here, but I do know there's some fish in here and it'll work for demonstration purposes, so I'm probably not going to kill anything today either. Just let it go back into its polluted environment. As you can see, there's trash around here. A lot of people just throw garbage. It's a shame, but they do. But I gave myself very minimalistic gear today. I actually carry quite a bit more in this very container right here for my fishing kit, but I thought it'd be interesting today to see what we could do with as minimal equipment as possible and still be reasonable. I get about 20 feet of parachute cord, which we won't be using right away. I don't know if we'll get to using that today at all. It depends on how things go. A knife. This is about a $1 cheapo knife. An assortment of snelled hooks. I like snells for use with the paracord. Maybe I'll get to showing you that at some point today. Maybe not. Maybe in a future video. A small spool of monofilament fishing line, and I recommend you go ahead and carry a small spool. This is 100 yards, so it doesn't take up that much space, and if you carry it on a spool, it doesn't take much space or weight up in your kit. You'll be able to carry a lot more, and that's it. The only other thing in here is what I'm going to be using for bait, at least at first today, and that is a small, tiny flower blossom. See, I brought no bait. I have no bait. I have no lures. What I have to do is I have to make do. If I want to catch more than one fish, I need to catch one first and use parts of that fish for bait. I actually have a hot dog in my backpack, but I don't get to use any of that hot dog until I catch at least one fish using whatever I can find out here. We'll start out with, believe it or not, yes, that flower blossom. First thing we're going to have to do, though, is take our little cheapo knife. We're going to have to get ourselves a fishing rod. Now, actually, the way this bank is, it's hard for you guys to tell looking at it, but it's very steep. It's a good 8-foot drop down to the water. I would probably be better off picking up one of the cans that are laying around out here and making a hobo fishing reel. But I'd rather show you how to make kind of a makeshift cane pole. So even though it's not optimal for this, that's what I'm going to do. Give me a second to reposition the camera. There's a tree behind it right now that I can get a good branch off of, and I'll show you how we take a little cheapo knife and go ahead and make us a fishing pole. Okay, well, I've got a branch right here that I think will do. It's not the best one, but without taking too much time to get this done today, because I'm on a limited time slot here, which may be in a survival situation. You also may be on a limited time slot. You got to do what's expedient versus what's best. Obviously, though, this little cheapo knife, if I just try to saw into this big old limb, it's not going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut at an angle into it and begin to work the knife deeper and deeper in each side. Come around the other side, do the same thing, and just cut basically a notch into the tree. And hopefully it'll break for me. Okay. Now I actually have a small pack saw in my back, and I could have made a much better pole, but again, I want to do this with minimalism. So what I need to do now is strip all of these branches and limbs off. And I'll go ahead and pause the camera while I do that, because you're just going to get bored if you sit here and watch me cut limbs off a branch. I'll be right back with you. Okay, well, I'm back, and as you can see, my fishing pole isn't pretty. It's weirdly shaped, but it's got a certain thing I was looking for when I chose a branch to cut. One, it was easy to get to. It was right here where I'm filming, so I could knock it out and get it done. But two, it's green. and it's very, very flexible. And that's not likely to break under the weight of even a fish up to, let's say, a pound and a half. I should be able to pull it in. I'm going to show you how to safeguard against that anyway. It's also long enough to deal with this embankment that I have here. I actually wanted to film about 100 yards away from here at a different spot where the bank is shallower and easier to get down there. In another big hole like this, but it's got a flat spot that you can get to it on. But the city has a sign over there now that says danger alligator and has the whole place blacked off. And it says, you know, basically to stay the hell out. And since there are quite a few cops that patrol this park, I figured it'd be better if I just did what they asked and stayed out of there. So that's number one. The first thing I need to do now is I need to get this ready to tie a fishing string to. And there's a certain thing that I need to do. Find my knife here. To do that the right way, to make sure that the nothing slips off, so to speak. And that is, I need to cut a little groove in to my stick. Now I don't want to cut a groove all the way around because a stick this small, that'll weaken it. What I want to do is put a little notch on each end, and as I get it cut, I'll show you what I've done so you can see it. But this just keeps the line from slipping right there and right there. So those little grooves, let me see if I can get that right for you to see it. Those little grooves right there will keep the line in place. Now I'm going to go ahead and just rig up because, again, this is another thing, like, I can't show you how to tie a fishing line out here. You'll never be able to see how to make the knots and all, and there's plenty of resources to do that. But what I'm going to do, and I'll show you once I get it done and come back, I'm going to tie the line here, but I'm going to leave myself about 2 feet of line on this side, not the side that's going to go off to fish with. And I'm going to retie, I'm going to wrap it around my pole, and I'm going to tie it back to about right here where the pole's thicker. So if a fish breaks this, right, if I happen to get a big fish, and I'm not going to get a big fish in this place, folks. I don't think there's any really big fish in here that I'm going to catch on a flower anyway. But if I do get a fish that happens to break this, or there's something weak about it I just haven't realized, and this tip breaks off, it'll fall back to the thicker part and I won't lose my fish. And it may not be the best fishing pole anymore, but at least I'll be able to get my fish in. So give me a minute, I'll get it rigged up, and we'll go see if we can catch a fish with a flower.